Oh, yeah?
Good afternoon. I'd like to call the regular May Board of Trustees meeting for Kansas City, Kansas Community College to order and ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Welcome once again, and I'd ask Peggy to please call the roll.
Trustee Ash.
Here.
Trustee Breidenthal.
Here.
Trustee Daniels.
Here.
Trustee Flender.
Here.
Trustee Maddox. Trustee Rios.
Here.
Trustee Townsend.
Here. Here.
Okay, thank you. Entertain a motion for approval of the agenda.
So move.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 4, approval of the minutes of the April 15, 2014 Board of Trustee meeting.
Move approval of April 15 board meeting, or minutes for the board.
Second.
Okay, have a motion and now finally a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. And the second item, approval of the minutes of the special meeting on April 30th, 2014.
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you all very much. Agenda item 5, audience to patrons and petitioners. Is there anyone present here this afternoon that would wish to address the board?
No, they do not.
Seeing and hearing none, then we'll move to agenda item 6, communications.
We have one, Mr. Chair. This is from Pat Bruni, who is over the Advancement Board. Advancement Council, I'm sorry. Dear Board of Trustees and College Administration, the members of the KCKCC Advancement Council would like to request a meeting with the KCKCC Board of Trustees, President Dr. Doris Givens, Vice President Dr. Michael Vitale, and Vice President Brian Bodie. As you will recall, the Advancement Council was formed in 2011 by the Board of Trustees to communicate with the service areas of the college and provide updates to the campus community and the public. However, we have struggled to find meaningful direction to assist the trustees and staff of KCKCC. We reviewed the listening project, established areas where we could assist as a community liaison group, and made suggestions. However, we find key partners no longer at our meetings, and our committed participants have dwindled. We would like to schedule a 30 to 45-minute discussion with you, the Board of Trustees, and college administration to discuss our future. Is there still a purpose for the Advancement Council as you move forward with the strategic plan and the recruitment of a marketing team? Does the Advancement Council hold relevance? We look forward to visiting with you. Thank you.
Okay. Comment or discussion, board members?
That has been scheduled, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I thought we've scheduled
We
that.
have it down.
I believe it's scheduled for June the 19th
Yes.
Yeah.
at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. No further comment or question. We will move then into item number 7 on your agenda, the President's report.
First, I would like to introduce the co-chair of the KC Reach program, who will speak to us about the KC Reach program.
All right.
Hi, I'm Susan Stewart. I'm the Director of Online Education here. And in the interest of brevity, I provided you with a little one-sheet and a pen about the KC Reach organization. KC Reach is the Kansas City Regional Access Consortium for Higher Education. And it is a consortium of 7 institutions within the Kansas City area that, oh, I gotta take my glasses off to see this, that began as a F.B.O.E grant in the early 90s and has continued to provide a much needed opportunity for collaboration and cooperation between member institutions. I served as the chair of the steering committee until April. Dr. Givens and I attended the executive session, executive board meeting on April 11th and handed that office off to another colleague at a different institution. The KC Reach has several subcommittees in addition to the steering committee. There is a technology subcommittee which meets regularly about issues related to instructional technology, distance education, and other issues related to those, other side issues. There's a quality assurance committee. The quality assurance model that is has been adopted by KC Reach is Quality Matters, and you might have heard of that here. Quality Matters is also the only portion of KC Reach that is available to affiliate institutions, and affiliate institutions are institutions that are outside the 100-mile radius of the Kansas City area, and we actually manage a portion of that here at KCK. That's something that the KC Reach organization contracts with us to do, and that's handled out of my office by Becky Geiger. Another subcommittee is the marketing subcommittee, and they meet whenever there are changes to marketing. That's another benefit we get from the KC Reach committee, is that we receive, there's a web presence, there's some marketing materials, and you might have seen it if you watch KCPT at all. You might have seen those videos. We have quite a good number of Google hits that come back, and from those go to the KC Reach web presence website, which is under review, and will and currently has links to all of our institutions, but will be in the future. It will be possible for a student who's looking for, say, biology course, intro to biology course, to search all the member institutions and find out where those are available. And it's been a great resource for us to move students along in their academic path without getting them stuck because it's full at one place or another. We've also had a pretty good success at moving students from the 2 years to the 4 years. They might take a class maybe at Washburn, and because they've taken one class, they go on to Washburn. The KC Reach also provides sponsorship at the Summer Institute on Distance Learning and Instructional Technology each year, which is at Johnson County Community College under the Colleague to Colleague organization, and will again this summer. So the full members include Johnson County, KCK, Metropolitan, Northwest, Park, Central Missouri, and Washburn, who are all founding members. There were a couple who no longer participate, and then the KCPTs at the public television station. We have affiliate members, again, who just get the Quality Matters portion, and those are St. Louis, St. Charles, Butler Community College, Lincoln, Emporia State. New this last year, we've added Hutchinson, Wichita State, and Jefferson College. That continues to be a great growth area for us. More and more institutions are thinking about quality assurance as they look at accreditation, and so that's been a great way for, quite frankly, the full members to reduce their cost, but also to provide a very much needed service. And so what these affiliates receive is that connectedness with those other member institutions. We trade training. We help other institutions get started. We get them off the ground immediately with their quality assurance model rather than having to wait to train up staff, which is a big benefit for them. And that's the reason why we've added in the last 2 years 5 members. I think I'm going to stop there. If you have any questions, I'd be more than glad to answer that. But I would do want to say that this has been a great organization that allows for collaboration and cooperation among institutions instead of competition between them. And we've shared a great number of resources. And every time I attend a meeting, it's a professional development activity where I gain a lot of ideas of things I should do, things I did, but maybe I might want to change, or things that I might share things where I've done them that other people are in the process. And I think all of my staff that attend feel that same way, and I know the other institutions have said as much. So, okay. Is there any questions? I'd be glad to take those.
Yes, I have one,
Yes.
Mr. President. On the trade, you said training staff?
Yes.
Okay, who's staff and what do you train them on?
Well, the quality assurance model, which is Quality Matters. Becky Geiger is the consortium rep for that, and while we don't train the trainers, we help them get going, and while they're going through the Quality Matters train the trainer process, we've had faculty from other institutions take our training. We've sent them to Johnson County. We've sent folks to there. I think Becky's made a couple of trips to Butler and St. Charles. And so it helps them understand the quality assurance model, which has standards of design, which have been shown to improve student retention and student success in online courses in particular.
So have we did better on our retention?
Pardon?
Have we did better on our retention?
Well, I think that's an issue. That's an issue I actually brought up with Quality Matters. We were looking at that data, and it's difficult to pinpoint exactly why students, particularly in an online environment, retain or leave, because there are so many other factors. But I know that for us, we can say we get more reports of student success and satisfaction. In fact, I personally can mention 4 or 5 instructors whose students have called me and said, I love the way this course is organized. It's so much easier to get around in. I'm doing so much better in this one, but I'm struggling in that one. So that's one of the real benefits of Quality Matters, is it sets up a standard of design that's very much the same within each course, and students have a good understanding of where they're supposed to go with that.
So the enrollment at the member institutions from 2011 to 2014 from about 40,000 to just under 57,000.
And that does include Park, which is the big, kind of the
Park's
big dog
a
in
huge
this.
one,
And
yeah.
it's very large. And they've got a huge military presence. And if you subtract that, they're very much along the lines of what we all have. But as you can see from that graph, they have a lot of students. And those are duplicated head count, so.
Those are impressive numbers.
Okay, thank you.
Very good.
I can tell you
Thank
that,
you.
I'm sure Susan didn't say, but she's the linchpin in all of this. She's the driving force. She's the go-to person. Everybody in that group goes to Susan to get her advice, to run things past her. She is amazing. I was very pleased when I went to the meetings with her to see how she is so much an integral part of that group. So I'd like to say thank you, Susan, for the work that you do with them and the way you handle your area here on campus. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One more question. All right.
On the part for the marketing, okay, give me a little update on it, because it says subcommittees meet.
We have there's a marketing subcommittee as part of that, and they meet when they change the marketing strategy. So last year, they changed the video. They didn't meet this last academic year. They met the year before. They also set up a strategy with the marketing representatives from each institution to decide what publications they might advertise in, what websites might be a good driver to the institutions and to the KC Reach website. So they get feedback from all the institutions, because KCPT does a great job of advertising KCPT, but they really need to know the market that we serve to understand what those locations are. So we've increased presence in some of the Spanish-speaking publications and some of the websites where we might drive up student hits from Spanish-speaking sites or the pitch. Some of those things which are more commonly referenced by this population of students than, say, the Kansas City Star.
Okay, give me your phone number before you leave.
Yes, ma'am.
That's my questions.
If you have more, I'd be glad to.
No, I better not say them.
Okay,
Just give me your card, the number, so I can call you out to the school.
I will.
Okay, other comments, questions? Thank you very much again, Susan. Appreciate your work there.
A reminder for the board members, when you are wondering what is going on, where and what time, Peggy has put dates and information on your calendar, and you can go to calendar on your iPad, and it will give you the information that you seek, particularly at this time of the year. School is closing and there are so many events. I know it's difficult to keep them straight, so you could go to your calendar and that information is available right in your calendar. A bit of good news. I attended the advisory board meeting for the nursing department last week, and it was announced that the KU Community College Nursing Partnership, the shared consortium proposal, has been discussed with KBOR. It's been approved by the KU School of Nursing Undergraduate Advisory Council. It's approved by the KUMC School of Nursing Faculty Assembly. It was approved unanimously by the Kansas State Board of Nursing. And when Regent Ann Murguia visited our campus last week, Dr. Wendell let her know that it will be on the KBOR agenda for their approval real soon. The significance of this partnership to our students is that it is a pathway to the Bachelor of Science degree, and it'll be from the KU School of Nursing. And that is vital because the requirements have changed. The AA degree in nursing, the new requirement is for a bachelor's. And so it is very important for our students to have that partnership. There are 5 colleges in this partnership: Butler County, Hutchinson, Johnson County, Kansas City, Kansas, and Neosho County. All of us are part of that consortium, so we're very excited about that. Dean Hunt and his team are continuing their work toward the Entrepreneur in Residence grant that's due by June 27th, and he's getting pretty frantic, and so when you see him and he's talking fast, then just say, okay, he's working on the grant, let's help him. Tony Tompkins, the athletic director, was supposed to be here today so he could show us, or he could present to the group, the outstanding male and female athletes for this year, but he's doing something that's pretty important. I don't know if you know what's happening with our baseball team, but he's with them, and I think one of the vice presidents will talk about where they are in the standings at this point. The KCKCC Art Gallery had their grand opening on Thursday. And let me tell you, they transformed that area downstairs in ways I never would have thought it could be transformed. It was absolutely beautiful. The area where they had the reception and the art gallery is amazing. Absolutely first class. It may be small compared to many that you may have been to, but I'm telling you, it's absolutely wonderful. And the way they arranged the art, the information about the art, simply wonderful. And very proud of the ones who worked and made that, I guess it was a wish for a long time, worked to make that a reality. We are proud at KCKCC to have that as a new area for us here at the college. The final President's newsletter went out on May 1st.
For this year?
For this year.
Okay, all right.
For this year. And I don't know if you've seen Professor Anelki on television, but he's very involved and very focused on this issue. And it's an issue of concern for all of us about the girls that have been kidnapped in Africa. I think there were over 200 of them. So when you see him, give him a kind word and a pat on the back, because he's stressed too. So thank you. That concludes my report.
Okay, all right. Any questions or comments for Dr. Givens?
Dr. Givens, you said Butler, Hutchinson, KCK, and Neosho, and who was the fifth one?
Johnson.
Nursing.
Johnson County and this.
Who?
Yeah.
Johnson County.
Johnson.
Johnson County.
That
Okay.
other community college.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to just comment regarding, Dr. Givens mentioned Regent Murguia's visit here last week. Most of you hopefully had the opportunity to see the blurb in the on-campus newsletter, which did a really great job covering, that. But the visit went extremely well, and I was certainly very proud of our Dr. Givens and all of the deans and the staff that were here. And as we moved around the building here and we went into the various areas, and there was a lot of activity going on. I mean, students were everywhere. We were trying to be as less disruptive as we could be for the size of group that we had, but the staff were responsive in each area. It was just a really great tour, really great visit, lots of wonderful information. And I know she went away from here with a much broader perspective of what all goes on here at Kansas City, Kansas Community College. So thank you to all of the deans, Dr. Givens, Peggy, for getting it sort of set up and everything, and for all of you that participated in one way or another, because it was sufficiently impressive. Very much.
Yes, and I think it was 11 pages of information typed, from computer generated, about the programs and what we were doing here at KCKCC. She sent us a list of questions, and rather than spending our time when she got here answering those questions, the deans and the vice presidents submitted information, and we were able to send that along with brochures about all of our programs, both in English and Spanish, so that she could have that information. So thank you, deans and vice presidents, and for all of you for the way you were able to showcase KCKCC when she was on campus. Thank you.
We're looking to set another one up for one of the other regions, so stay tuned.
Yes, we are.
I don't know if we're going to get that accomplished anytime real soon, but Regent Wilt from Baser, Leavenworth County, obviously that's our service area as well, so we want to be equal opportunity marketer there, if you will. So
Yeah, that's good.
it was productive, very productive. Okay, any other questions or comments for Dr. Givens? If there are none, I'll entertain a motion.
Accept the president's report.
Yes.
Okay, so moved.
Second?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Thank you, Dr. Givens. Dr. Vitale.
Thank you. Before I introduce Dr. McDowell, I want to make...
Hey, Don, you
excuse
want to
me.
pick up that campus police report and the human relations report? Is that part of Dr. Givens' report?
Yes, it was included in your board.
Okay.
That's part of it. Did you have questions
No,
about?
that's okay. No. Just want to comment about how many good things are happening and out of Jim Beechwood's report. Good information that he provided us on that. Appreciate it very much.
Yes. Okay.
He's doing an awesome job. I think this Thursday is the final interview for the companies that are hoping to get our business so that they can be the company that manages our advertising and all of that for us.
Okay, good. Okay, Michael.
All right. Before I introduce Dr. McDowell and her Fringe Benefits of Education presentation, 3 quick announcements. First of all, our baseball team is in Wichita where at 5 p.m. they'll take on that community college to the south of us for the championship and the right to go to the World Series baseball for the National Junior College Association. We only need to win one game. If we win at 5, we go. If we should not win at 5, then the two teams will play at 8 o'clock tonight. And the baseball team expects to be back on campus sometime early Wednesday morning. Right?
Okay.
Also, wanted the board to be aware, and we're going to do a bigger presentation once all the details are in, but we have Kansas City, Kansas Community College has been selected to host the National Parliamentary Debate Association tournament next March 14th through the 17th in 2015, and that event will bring in the neighborhood of 300 to 350 debaters, plus another 150 or so coaches and judges into the area. Darren Elliott, our coach, has been instrumental in arranging that. That is during our spring break, and according to Darren, they expect the host school to be on spring break when they host it because of the number of rooms and facilities that it will require. And what Darren's going to do once he gets all the numbers together, we're going to do a presentation to the board on the impact that hosting this tournament will have not only on the college but on Wyandotte County in terms of hotel rooms and so forth. So we don't know if that's going to be June or July, but once we get that, we'll certainly get it on the board agenda.
Are we the first community college to host this?
I don't want to say yes, but I'm not, because I'm not 100% positive.
Okay.
But I think Darren couldn't stay because he had to get to the final exams.
I think there's
probably
significance
probably
to
are.
this.
There's a lot of significance to hosting that
And,
tournament.
this is a big deal, and so I certainly hope that my fellow trustees feel the same way I do. But anything that we can do to be supportive and have our campus ready for this national event, and we want to do that.
Right.
And especially when our debate team has
Yeah, 11
national
years in a row.
significance.
Absolutely.
We want to make sure we do this world class.
Can we make it a requirement that they have to stay in Wyandotte County?
We can sure try. But I think he's already working with the hotels, and they expect to have contracts signed with local hotels
great.
within the next
Yeah.
month or so.
Wonderful.
So
Great
they're
opportunity.
working very good on it. And my last announcement's kind of a shocker. Let the board know that we've made a change with the director of our honors and PTK. Stacy Tucker, Miss Stacy Tucker, has been replaced as director of the honors and PTK by Dr. Stacy Tucker.
All right.
Stacy. I had to have you here so I could do that, Stacy. Dr. Givens looked at me like, what in the world are you doing?
I was starting to get a little nervous there.
Yeah, we were just about ready to say, well, hold on.
Hold on a minute here.
He's put himself in jeopardy here.
Wow.
Exactly. No, we're real proud of Stacy, and she kept her defense date secret from me because she had given me a date in fall when she thought she was going to get to do it, and I had it on my calendar with all these reminders for her. And for no fault of Stacy's, it had to be delayed, and so she refused to tell me when it was. I didn't know she was even defending that day until I got a call from her. She said, "Are you in your office? I need to come see you." And she came down with the good news that she had successfully finished her dissertation and all of her comps. So we're very proud of her.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Outstanding. Congratulations, Dr. Tucker.
Okay, at this point, I want to introduce Dr. Denise McDowell, Vice President of Enrollment and Registrar. She's going to do the presentation. We had hoped to be able to fit in last board meeting on our fringe benefits of education, but because of time, we kind of short-circuited that. But I still wanted her to give this presentation to you because it's important, because of the work that she's doing is outstanding work, and she's affecting the lives of our students and others in the community. Denise?
And I'm going to be brief. I'm always excited to talk about this program, and I'm particularly excited now because there's a lot of attention being brought to this, particularly by the Center for Community College and Student Engagement, which is a national organization. They're bringing a lot of attention to the aspirations and achievements of men of color in community college. One of the things that I'm excited about, as you saw the young men last time, is the fact that KCK is really contributing to this conversation and this work. We're actually hoping that before this year ends, we actually have an article that we can submit to actually add our voice to the conversation. As we were listening when the commissioner came, or our regent representative came, and she was sharing about some of the challenges they were having at one of the Walmarts in the Argentine and Rosedale district. As she was talking, it flashed through my mind some of the challenges we have had in working with some of these young men. One of the things that we often did was we wanted them to dress a certain way, particularly when they come on the first Thursday. One of the young men pulled me aside one night and said, I come to school dressed the way I am for the whole day because I couch surf. And I thought, couch surf? What he was sharing with me is that he was homeless. And so however he dresses at the beginning of the day, he has to do whatever he does all day long, dress that way, because he doesn't have an opportunity to go back and change clothes. It made me rethink how I actually approach them in doing some of those things. So as we talk about this, and some of the benefits of being in our program is they have a mentor and life coach. We had some of the gentlemen who are associated with our program go through a coaching workshop that was held on the campus on the 27th. One of the things that they were sharing with them is the difference between being a mentor and a coach. A coach kind of allows the young men to determine what direction they want to go versus you sharing with them what direction you think they ought to go. One of the things, as I shared with you last time, in helping them rebuild their swag and their image, one of the things that was shared with us, some of them really don't have an idea of what it means to go out to a job and dress a certain way and have some of those challenges. And so some of them are looking at us, trying to determine what that looks like. Some of them want to emulate it, but some of them are having a lot of challenges because the people who are talking to them and encouraging them don't always keep the game going in the direction that we want it to. I shared in another meeting, and I'm going to share this, and it's very personal to me, about a tale of two young men. And I shared this in the developmental committee. I said, one of those young men is my son. African-American young man, comes from a home, both his parents have a college degree, both of his grandfathers have college degrees, his brother has a college degree, he has several uncles who have college degrees. But he went off to college this year, or it's his sophomore year, and things didn't go quite the way he had planned in basketball. And so he was ready to quit college. And his father, his grandfathers, and all had to stay on him constantly to stay in school. I'm proud to say he's going to finish his sophomore year this year and probably have his best GPA ever. But one of the things his grandfathers had to say to him is, young man, we don't care if you ever pick up a basketball again in your life, but if you don't get your college degree, we're going to have a problem with you. On the other hand, I have a young man who just got out of prison. And this young man is a young man in our program, walking our campus. This young man went to prison for 4 years right out of high school. When he got out, somebody told him to go to college. He came here, but has no idea what he's doing. He's probably not going to class like he should. We see him in the hall. And when he came to our program, he actually didn't come a few weeks, and we found him and said, what's going on? He said, well, I didn't do what I told you all I was going to do. So I was too embarrassed to return. We found him and said, whether you did it or not, you come back. He was there last Thursday. and we had to commend him for the effort. This is a young man on this end who comes from a family where not everyone graduated from high school. Many of them, according to what he shared with me, had also been in prison as well. He has earned a certificate from this college, but because of his background, he may not be able to use that one because of some of the situation he got himself in. Now he has to be retooled. That young man is hearing people say, do what? Why, if you're so frustrated at that college, why don't you leave? Why don't you go get a job? Why don't you go do something else? Two young men who could have the same opportunity, but one needs a lot of wraparound service. I tend to be the one who says all of our students on this campus are at risk. There's a continuum of at risk. Even our honor students are at risk. If they have the right life events, they too will stop out and drop out. Our program is what many people call a boutique program. It's boutique because it's not up to scale and serving a huge number of people. And what we found in the last 3 years, at least in 12-13, and we're pulling the data together for 13-14, is that at least 130 people came through the program in some way in last year. And we know the same is true this time. What we also know in looking at the program is that many of them come in what I call cameo appearances. They may come following a speaker, and then they may come 1 or 2 times to find out what it's all about. And what they find out is they have to pay attention. They have to read out loud. They have to engage. They have to be a part of something and not just sit there. And so what we're trying to figure out is how do we move more of them from the cameo to those people who attend 2 to 9 meetings and those that attend 10 plus. At least 15 to 20 we know each year are what we would consider strong participants that come and attend 10 or more meetings every semester. We also know that they're not traveling from very far. The furthest distance may be 9 miles, but we do know in our Wyandotte County area, transportation is an issue. So I was listening the other day and we were talking about people not showing up from work. We know some of them don't show up to these meetings, and some of our mentors agree to pick them up. Some of them ride the bus. We also know that after a certain period of time, when the bus stops traveling out here, they have to leave our meeting, because if they miss that next exchange, then they can't get home. Because even here, it has to leave here and go to a hub, and many of them are catching 2, maybe 3 buses to get to where they need to be. So transportation is an issue. We are using social media. We have a Facebook, we have a Twitter account, we have pictures out there. We send them emails to remind them of the meetings, and we try to get them to participate and engage them in a number of ways. One of the things some of them ask, because all of them do not have to be students at Kansas City, Kansas Community College to participate in the program, what does it cost? And we tell them it's cost their time and commitment. I use the program as a gauge to see if they show up and they're on time and they're engaged, and they may be ready to participate in some of the other programs on campus for which the requirement of attendance is much more stringent. What we're dealing with here at Kansas City, Kansas Community College is not unique. And I'm just going to show you a little clip from the CESI study of other young men, because they did a study of young men in community colleges all across the country.
Black men that don't have any guidance, then they just go all around and they kind of lost. But black men who have guidance, they have people there that just hold on to them so tight.
You know how Latinos are. You got to reach out to them. You got to touch them, right? Or somebody's got a friend that's in a friend that knows a friend. So I made my community in the Writing Center. A bunch of great kids, you know, and so I'm like the old man there, right?
I had set my goals really low, and after meeting Felipe, he believed in me, and he allowed me to be able to see that I could do more.
You know, they was very helpful in advising me to get into some groups, you know, and stuff like that. So I got to getting into groups, talking to other people.
You know, I get a lot of help through going through programs here at this facility, you know, and I wish like I said, I wish I'd have realized it a long time ago. I don't tell you how many years, a long time ago.
Personally, I think the TRIO program is like that support. Like, say for instance, you run the marathon and you almost there, but you ain't there yet, and you need some water, and you know somebody's over there like, here, you know, they give you that extra boost to. I don't think I can make it without the TRIO program, flat out.
I only share that with you so that you can hear, and these were young men who participated in this survey from community colleges all over the country, that the work we're doing here is in line with what's happening throughout the country. And what these programs, whether they're boutique or full scale, what they do is provide, as that young man talked about, that water in the marathon, that encouragement, that something that my son has that some of the young men don't have. And we create these wraparound services with the many programs and opportunities that we have here at KCKCC, because F.B.O.E may not be for everyone, but we have a links program that is. We have student advising that is. We have the Academic Resource Center that's there. We have the Community Outreach Program that is. So what we need is a variety of services that provide what they need when they need it so that they will stay in and they will stay engaged. But as they talked about, they need a personal touch. They need to know that there's someone on this campus that they can go to, they can reach out to, and that will be there for them in their time of need. We also work with them on rebuilding their swag. We talked about how they need to look a certain way and act a certain way and be a part of the community culture. And they need to know that there are people who will talk to them about that without passing judgment, but will help them do what they need to do. Opening up opportunities for them. I know one of my colleagues was talking today about internship opportunities. Well, we have to make sure that they're ready. So when those intern opportunities are available, that they're positioned to compete for them in the best way. Community level support. We have guest speakers that come in and speak to them once a month on the first Thursday. Our last speaker that was here was talking to them about doing it afraid, to push through the fear and get the job done. And last month we had a person talking to them about overcoming adversity with enthusiasm. Again, you heard me talk about the young man who earned his high school diploma. We will be going to that graduation this Thursday, and I promised him I was going to be there, so I will be out at Baser Linwood sitting in the stage cheering for him with his parents. And then again, my primary theme for all of them is we have to do our best to position them to compete. Another young man that we have in the GED program, and hopefully he will complete this year. Making sure they're employable. The young man you're looking at now is actually in our program. We watched him get married. We've seen him and his first child. Him and his family is expecting another child, and he's working with a beverage company here in the Kansas City area. This young man you heard speak last month is a young man who found over-the-road truck driving was a career for him, that he wasn't built for some of the traditional jobs, and he got his license. He owns his rig now, and you'll see him around, and he comes quite often to talk to them about owning a rig. And then we worked with Hubbard, who you see, the urban outdoorsman who comes and works with our young men. We've taken them to the Black Expo where they have opportunity to engage with others. And then we try to get them to understand no more excuses. Stop it. If you need transportation, if you need a scholarship, if you need to come to school, if you need to fill out financial aid, if we need you to talk to your family, that we're there for you. And again, the first Thursday, which we invite you to come to every first Thursday of the month and to hear what the guest speakers are sharing with them. Our follow-up Thursdays are not just come and sit down and do nothing. They actually read. We have them reading out loud. We do what we call round robin, because we know if they just sit there, they don't engage and they'll drift away. But if we have them read out loud, one paragraph, one sentence at a time, they'll do it. I think when one of the board members came to see them a few years ago, they said they thought we had tricked them into going to night school by having them come to F.B.O.E in the evening. They just think they're coming, and some of them do get afraid because they have to read out loud, but they get involved and they get engaged, and that's our way of encouraging them to come back to school. So again, I'm very pleased with what we're doing and learning. I'm learning a lot about their needs. I'm learning a lot about what the college can do to engage them more, and I'm learning a lot because I feel like if we can provide them in our various wraparound services here at the college, then we may get a young man to go from a GED to a PhD or owning his own business because we were there in his time of need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Denise, do they meet during the summer?
Yes, we meet all year long.
Okay, questions or comments, board members?
Denise, how do you communicate with these young men's teachers in their regular classrooms? I mean, that's a great program you have, but obviously what's going on in their classrooms is critical too. So how do you communicate with those teachers that are working with these young men in their classroom?
When we know who they are and they share with them, I can think of a young man we had in a theater program a few years ago when Dr. Leader knew he was in the program because he shared that. He was in F.B.O.E. When he was having a particular challenge, he came and spoke with me and said, "This young man is in my class. Any ideas about how I can reach him? We really want to keep him in." When we know of others, we try to encourage them and give them the words where they can communicate with their instructors. We try not to intervene unless they ask us to, but we try to give them the words they need and the temperament that would be appropriate for them to approach an instructor, because some of them just don't know what to say. They don't know they're supposed to go and talk to their instructor during their office hours. They don't know it's okay to send an email. They don't know I can go after class and stay and they will actually talk to me. They think, hey, if it's over and I'm doing bad, you just walk away. So we try to encourage their hearts and give them the language they can use so that they can engage in a more positive way.
Yeah, it sounds like really a nice communication and coordination effort between your program and the academic program.
Yes.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
All right,
Thank
thank you,
you.
Denise.
I
Yeah.
have been a few times to her F.B.O.E. program, and I grew from just being there and sharing, because nobody just gets to come and sit. If you go to F.B.O.E., you have to become a participant, and I felt a little intimidated the first time, but she didn't let up on me either. So it was yeah, I'm sorry I don't get to go more often, but it's a wonderful experience that if you get a chance to go, they like to see different people come in so they can ask you questions.
So remind us again, Thursdays
from 6 to 8:30.
6 to 8:30 p.m.
Is it just the first Thursday?
We meet
every Thursday.
But the first Thursday when you have the speaker? Okay.
Excellent. Great.
All right, you have my written report in front of you. Be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Mr. Chair, I have a few questions. It's your turn this month.
Okay.
Page 22 refers to the Leavenworth County enrollment of 21% of our student body. I was wondering, have we, or can we, if we haven't already, done a cost-benefit analysis of our Leavenworth operation? Not advocating this, but as we talk about getting support from our other service area taxing entities, I believe that we need to do our fiduciary duty in knowing what would it be if we didn't have that center and then we wanted them to come here to the main campus. Would we lose them, or would they in fact stay? You know, those kind of analysis. Have we done anything like that, or could we?
Not since I've been here, we haven't done any kind of a cost-benefit analysis. But I think it's worthwhile doing. I think we do have a significant impact, and
there it is.
I would speculate that probably we would lose some of those students if we didn't offer the program in Leavenworth. How many, it would just be a guess.
Right.
But I feel fairly confident that not all of them would, in fact, come to the main campus down here and make that trip for their coursework.
I just think that in order for us to make a case, we need to know what our costs are and be able to articulate to those governing entities. And, 21% is a significant part of our student population. And to get no support from the communities of which they reside, and it all comes back then to Wyandotte County, and we all know, the situation in Wyandotte County. I mean, it's known across the state. And that I just think that we need to build a case for getting support. And so, again, my purpose is only in educating ourselves first, and then from that, how we might be able then to, communicate to those entities. So I would hope that
Sun Key Men?
whatever department you would.
Yeah, we're beginning to work on it. I think
delegating that.
We are, because we're going to have that meeting with the with the regent, and we're also working on setting up a meeting with the their board of commissioners, so that we can have a discussion like that.
Okay.
So it's already in progress.
Okay, good. So, yeah, I think that just everybody rallying around that, getting that information, I think will be empowering.
Can I tack a question onto that same issue? If you know, it indicates that Carolyn met with the city manager, Leavenworth, the city administrator, Lansing, and the county administrator. Do you know whether she initiated those meetings, or did they ask for that meeting?
I don't know who
She
initiated those.
them, right?
She
did.
initiated them?
We asked if it was even feasible, and who should we start meeting with to determine if it was feasible. So she met with them to say, should we even think about this?
And they were willing?
And they were willing. They
Great.
were surprised that we had not done it before.
We did ask for them 10 years ago,
But these people may not have.
but these are some different people, so we need to go back.
Well, good for her.
We're
for
working on it.
leading on that. Whoever took the lead on that, that's
Yeah,
great.
we're working on a strategy to sort of lay some groundwork and then introduce a discussion and then build it from there.
Good for her. That's good.
Yeah. On page 24, I was wondering if we knew the percent of Wyandotte County residents that are classified as long-term unemployed. We are working on some grants that are noted on, and it talks about that we are with the workforce partnership and that, and then they talk about this long-term unemployed. So do we know that information for Wyandotte County?
Marvin?
Yeah, long-term unemployed are qualified as people out of work for 26 weeks that are registered with the state system. And I don't know the number right now, trustee, but I'm trying to remember if it's, well, I'm afraid if I quote any number, it might be a little bit wrong, but I can get to it for you. We're working.
I think that'd be good information to have.
Like, let's say if it's 1,500 people or whatever the number would be, if you added, if you change that by 10% or whatever, you know what you can do with the unemployment rate. So that's an effort that's, MAMTech is managing a wide group of people in the county to consider what to do about changing the bar on that.
Right, because oftentimes we just talk about the unemployment rate. We don't talk about the long-term unemployment or the underemployment, but I noted that the grants dealt with all three. And so I think having that information, in our collective minds could be beneficial. So if you could have that next meeting, that'd be good, I think.
I don't want to say exactly what it is because it might be wrong.
Sure.
Mr. Chair, I got a question.
Go ahead.
Did the Can you include in there the number of minorities that's unemployed and the number of males and females that's unemployed? And if you can get, after they get off of their, receiving their checks, how many of them, because I deal with that every day. And then if you can go further, check on how many got felons and are having really a hard time. So all that could be included in the report, you'd be surprised.
Sun-Ki, and we want that by 8 o'clock in the morning.
Now, the president
We won't
said
tell you
that.
which morning,
Not a trustee, the president said that, all right. But I do, Dr. Vertel, on the grant writers report, I was wondering if it'd be possible in that report to have like a chart that would say the grants that are being written, which ones have we've successfully gained, which ones we haven't, and the dates that we're anticipating answers on the ones that we don't have information about yet. So kind of have that in a chart form.
Yes, we can do that.
I think that would be very useful information for the board, because we get the bullets, but I think if we had it in one
nice chart, I think we can do a chart that shows the grant, maybe the due date, the amount of the award, a short synopsis of what the grant the objective of the grant, and then we'll also do a status each month, so that we'll get those every month, so that
we
you'll
can
see,
track them.
Whether it was funded or denied, et cetera.
Right, because we often wonder about the working of our grant writer, and I actually think it works extremely hard, but when you just have a couple of bullets each time, while we have an ongoing list, then it's right there for us. On page 25, the adult, this is a point of information also in the reporting. It says that we received a $292,387 grant for 2015, but how does that compare to what we received in 2014? And a lot of times we get the information about what we've gotten, but we don't know if it's shorter than the last time or if it's a gain. We can have a little celebration if we gain a couple of bucks. So is that something we could include in our reports?
Yeah, I think probably maybe that would be like towards the end of the fiscal year, do a report that shows, kind of summarizes all the grants that we had looked for, that had due dates and award dates during the fiscal year, show how successful we were, where we were in terms of awarded. We'll look at that from either an end of the fiscal or if it's a running total. I don't know that it changes that much from month to month for a running total, but we'll look and see which is the most informative.
All right, that'd be great. And then, I don't know if I should ask you or Mr. Smith, it's noted about our TEC USA Skill Contest winners. I was wondering if they would be presented to the board?
They will. We had 33 winners in Wichita, and they went to the Kaufman Foundation last week, and then they're getting ready to go to, I think Leo's going to present those, and then they're getting ready to go down to Bartle Hall coming up in June. So
We'll plan for the June.
Oh, so we're waiting for the June meeting. Okay, that'd be great. The number, I just felt like that was an outstanding number. So please pass on our congratulations to this, of course, to this faculty, staff that work with them, and the TEC, and then of course we want to be able to congratulate the students. On page 27, the fire science classes for credit. Could you give a little more information, background on that, and is this showing our progress toward working with our local fire department and getting what we have established with the police academy, working on getting such an academy established for our fire?
We have that in part. What we do is it's about once a year now, just depending on when the fire department starts their academy.
we offer the students that go through it firefighter 1 and 2 credit. So we give them that for completing the academy. And it's run in a pretty similar fashion to how we do the police academy.
Yeah.
In terms, we just put the courses together. They have a qualified instructor and who teaches the courses, and then we work with them to get it all figured out.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
I got a couple.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you worked on the fire science part? Have you had a chance to work out some of the kinks in there that I spoke to you about?
Yes, we have. We're taking a look at that. I think what we're not going to try to change it for the summer because we've already instructed a lot of the students to take the A&P, but we're looking at it, and the faculty do have the ability to waive that requirement for the A&P if they so, if they feel it's in the student's best interest for that class. But we are looking into that.
We have it ready by fall.
We're going to try to. He's a little concerned because he's also prepped students to prepare for the fall class by taking the A&P ahead of time. So we're a little concerned. We don't want to change the rules and then have students upset with us, but we'll try to do it for those who want to come in the fall without the prerequisite of A&P.
Okay, and I had one other question. Jeannie, took too long. I lost the question.
We need to make sure we keep data
Mm-hmm.
on
Yeah, we will
the
look
difference
at the
that it makes for
success and
students
whether
who take
right.
the class as
So we'll probably look
compared
at
to
it.
those who don't
Mhm.
in working through the program.
I guess, have we decided we're going to do that?
We've been discussing it. This is in terms of, right now, I think Ms. Flender's talking about the EMT
Right.
course that has a
Anatomy,
prerequisite of
physiology.
anatomy and physiology.
Yeah.
And that's more there in the event the students ultimately decide to go on and do their paramedics, because that is that course is a prerequisite to the paramedic program. It's not really at the state level or any other level of prerequisite to the EMT. It's more of a programmatic decision. That's why the faculty does have that authority to waive that requirement if deemed appropriate. And so we're looking at how we can best structure that so we can get through, and like Dr. Gibbons said, we'll look and see if it does have any impact on the success rate. We don't want to do anything that's going to make the students less successful in the EMT course itself, but at the same time we're cognitive of, aware of how that may be a barrier to students getting through the EMT and thereby being eligible for hire by the Kansas City, Kansas Fire Department, provided they're also 21. And that was another issue that we did discuss, at least for those students coming out of high school. For the students coming out of high school, really, the EMT course is good, but they're still not eligible to be hired by the Kansas City, Kansas Fire Department because of their age, but they might be eligible to be hired by another fire department in Kansas or even Missouri. So we're looking at that.
Okay.
Good. Okay.
Is the age still 21?
It was, unless you've gotten it changed in the last couple of weeks.
Okay. I got one other
But a
question.
student cannot become an EMT without that course. He can become a fireman, but he can't become an EMT.
They can become an EMT. They can do the EMT course without having to take the A&P. And then having the EMT course, being a paramedic, or being a emergency medical technician, then they are eligible for hire by the fire department.
What it is, Dr. Gibbons, is that the other community colleges don't have them to take that anatomy and the physiology.
I know.
We're the only ones that request that.
I know.
And yet we got 17 guys on that paramedic staff up there at Wyandotte County that came out of Solana and McPherson and someplace in Wichita. And they hired them, and they didn't have that. And a lot of them just want to be EMTs. They don't want to go on and be the paramedics.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and
So that was my
if I
question.
just
They
want to be an
cannot
EMT, let me
progress,
just be
right?
that.
Because they don't take that course. That was the point.
Right, they can't
You
get
were
hired by
preparing them for the next level.
for the next level,
So
right.
if they ever decide to
If
become.
they decide to become a paramedic, they would
They
have to
just
go
come
back
back
and
to
take
school.
the anatomy and physiology.
Come back.
Okay.
I got one other thing on the workforce. When we have, okay, it's a grant for 1 year or 2 years or 3 years.
Which grant?
What page?
The one for the parliamentarian thing, is it
Oh, no, are you talking about hosting the
national debate?
tournament?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's just for next year. That's just for the 1 year.
Just for 1 year, okay. All right, and I had one other, but when I think of it, I'll come back to it.
Okay.
I gotta learn how to write on this stuff. Okay.
Don, I had one quick one. Mike, Dr. Mann indicates that he presented a developmental education study of our fall first-time student cohort group to the advisory. Could we get a copy of that or see what that study was or report on it?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just curious what that's showing us. Thank you.
Okay, that can be at 8 o'clock.
No hurry, no hurry. Just thought it'd be something good for us to look at. You said that.
All right, are there other questions or comments on Dr. Vitale's report?
Move acceptance of the report.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. And now we'll look to Vice President, Mr. Brian Bodie, for his report.
Thank you. My report starts on page 32. A couple issues that I just did want to bring up. Google Fiber is in the building, but it's not very far into the building. Baz and his team are working with Google Fiber right now to find a method for us to take advantage of what's available from Google Fiber. I think we're 30 or 60 days out. We're ready to put this program on Google Television, but there's an FCC requirement that they have to announce it so many days in advance, and we don't know if they've done that. But more importantly, we want to know how we can stretch our bandwidth and use Google Fiber to improve what we provide to students.
Yeah.
Baz and his team are working real hard to push Google. Push being the correct word.
Push that rabbit, all right? Okay.
Yes. And then the Chevron project is progressing. We are working on scheduling and staging areas are a big issue right now. One of the big issues is where are we going to stage all that roofing material and those cranes without getting in everybody's in as few people's way as we possibly can without damaging anything else by trying to stay out of people's way. So we're struggling our way through that one right now. But the project is, in fact, progressing. And we did, in fact, get an email the other day from one of our partners in that, the Dunn, even though the Dunn who sent it to us is retired, talked to somebody. They were looking for machinists. They were looking for somebody to be hired. I sent that through Mike and down to Leota and to Mark, and we got that to our machinists, the company specifically looking for it, and somebody outside of this place thought about us and gave it to us. So we hope that some of our aspiring machinists have found an employer. That partnership continues to have some fruit on it.
All right, good.
And I'll answer any other questions that you may have about my report.
Okay.
Move acceptance of the Vice President's report.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian, very much.
Under payment of the bills are listed on pages 38 to 101. I ask your approval of the payment of bills.
Finance Committee has reviewed and move approval.
Second.
Okay, but a motion and a second. Are there any questions or discussion over the payment of the bills? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
And under 10B, the financial reports begin on page 102 through 105, and I ask your approval for the financial reports.
Finance Committee has reviewed the financial reports. On your cumulative budget report dated April 30th, I do want to bring attention to the scholarship line item has been corrected. We had a deficit showing on that line that was not, and we guessed it was an auditing circumstance, and that has been corrected. Please remember that that scholarship line comes from a $5 student fee and goes to Wyandotte County. Outside of Wyandotte County. Kansas students. So that's what that scholarship line item provides for, and so just remember that that's what we are supporting there. The expenditure report on 104 shows our expenditures remaining fairly constant at about $5 million a month. Our utility usage continue. You know, we've had some unstable weather conditions, but we still had the second lowest in the history that is covered by our data, and so we feel good about that. So with that, we move for approval of the finance report as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Under 10C, I ask for your approval of items 1 through 4.
And information was in your board packets, and regarding these items, Finance Committee has reviewed them. We gave you information about the property. You received a map on that and the location, and we appreciate the Endowment Association working with us on that donation. And of course, we're excited that we got really some nice real estate. Mr. Smith, you personally went to that site, right? Am I correct? Yeah. And so it has the lines, utility lines in place, and so we feel very good about being able to build a nice quality home there, as long as the board does accept that. And we
close to the tech center.
Yes, and the Finance Committee is recommending your support of that, and also the rent at the Royal Ridge is increasing, so we're basically passing on the increase that we're having to pay to cover those expenses. So that's really what that is there. So if there's any other specific questions, we'd be happy to answer those. If not, we move approval.
How much additional rent? How much?
$400 a year, ma'am, on most of them $200 a semester.
I can't read all that. So it's too little.
I'll second Mr. Rios' motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion. Did we get a second?
I second it.
Where?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the
Thank you.
motion carries. Thank you very much. Brings us to agenda item number 11, miscellaneous, and you'll notate under that, request for executive session. That would be on this matter, right?
Well, it's on
We
several.
have another matter.
We do.
How long do we need?
have two, maybe.
Okay.
One for sure.
How much time are you thinking?
Mr. Attorney, do you have an idea about the?
30 minutes, 30 minutes for the first part, and then if we need to, we will come back out for perhaps another 15, 20 minutes. Mr. Chairman, the first one would be under the personnel exception to protect the privacy interests of the individuals involved. The second one would be under the attorney-client exception to protect communications which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship with action, possible action to follow.
Okay.
Move we go to executive session for 30 minutes after a brief 5-minute recess and for matters under the attorney-client privilege.
That's a motion.
Second.
There's a second. All right. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. We'll take 5 minutes to reconvene in executive session.
Move that we move back into executive session for 20 minutes to discuss personnel matter under the confidentiality of attorney-client privilege.
All right.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We'll be back.
Move that the board come back into session.
Second.
All right, with a motion and second to come back in public session. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, we're back in the session.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Board of Trustees uphold the administration's stance on the grievance.
Second motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, agenda item 12, Director of Human Resources.
I'll step in and cover this for you if I may, please.
Absolutely.
For your information, our separation information under number 12, 1 through 7, and recommendation asking for your approval on items 8 through 20.
Move approval of the Human Resources recommendations.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Question or comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right.
Thank you. And
the motion
Human
carries.
Resources report is on page 106.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you, Brian. Okay, agenda item 13, report of committees. Any committees to report?
I don't have a committee report, but I do have something out with my nosy self. I attended the planning board meeting last night, and it was very interesting because I had been upstairs to the standing committee meetings, and I usually don't stop at the planning board, but I did, and it was very interesting because a group was there, Beverly Metcalf, asked on the non-consent agenda, asking for Fairview Baptist Church to be a detox center along with the Salvation Army Center, and for X number of beds. And when they were trying to get them to say yes, the associate pastor from the church came up and told that those 7 persons that he was a state trooper and that the KCK Community College could help with the detox center if something went wrong. And
The community college could help with the detox
yes,
center?
the Kansas City, Kansas Community College Police
Campus police.
Campus
Oh,
police can go 10 blocks radius, and that he knew that this, almost came unglued, but I did wait till they said questions. I went to the podium, I said, well, I've been a trustee for a little while, and then somebody said the number of years. I said, and I missed 2 meetings, and I must have missed both of them, because I don't think that, Greg, we received money from the state. I could almost call Bodie at 11 o'clock last night when I got home, but I waited this morning to call him. I said, you better ask Greg, because I can't find him. Are we receiving state monies? And he said, no. I said, well, then how are we going to go 10 blocks from this college to 1205 North 64th Terrace? So after I spoke, it was denied. So you'll probably hear about it, because I'm always somewhere, but.
They denied the zoning, special use permit?
Yes, special use permit
Okay.
was.
All right.
Marianne, you
Did
said
I?
this was part of the Salvation Army Harbor Lights?
Yes.
Yeah, the Harbor Lights is a good place for them to go, because it is secure.
I'm on that advisory board.
Well, it is secure, but not 1205 North 64th Terrace, which is a Fairview Baptist Church. And I don't know how they're gonna turn that church into to all those beds, but anyway, it's not, they denied it. But you know, I laugh because people say I attend everybody's meeting, but that's how I have learned so much, and it was a good thing I was there last night.
Okay. All right, other committee reports? I just briefly notate from KACCT, the executive committee met last Monday. What was a week ago? The 5th, in Hutchinson at the Hutchinson Community College. It was just an executive committee meeting on sort of a way the executive committee could touch base with all of the member colleges, trustee representatives, and just, ask them questions, ask how KACCT could more readily assist them, if they had any ideas on trustee development and so on and so forth. So it was a pretty focused meeting, and some action that came out of it is all of us on the committee have our peer representatives from some of the other colleges to contact and just visit with them, and then be prepared to report or discuss at Garden City at the annual meeting in June. So nothing else new from KACCT.
What's that, June to what?
6th and 7th, I think, 7th and 8th. It's on your calendar there.
Okay.
Yeah, good point, thank you. Okay, agenda item 14, unfinished business.
Do we have a score?
Anybody have a score yet?
Unfortunately. 5-0 after 4 innings. Bad guys.
Uh-oh, okay.
Move
All
for
right.
adjournment.
Okay, if that's the only unfinished business, then we
Move for
are at that
adjournment.
magical hour and moment.
Move for adjournment.
Second.
Motion to adjourn and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much.